What's up, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk. Today, we got an awesome Monday overreactions video for you after the Steelers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady yesterday. It was a glorious victory. We're going to get into all the good stuff, but before we do, I want you to go and click that big red button and subscribe to the channel. We are looking to get to 19,000 subscribers here on Steelers Talk. And once we do, I am going to wear a Terry Bradshaw bald cap for an entire episode. We got a bald cap. It's, bald up here with the white fringes. It's going to be super embarrassing to wear, but once we hit it, I'm going to wear it for you guys. So make sure and go follow the channel right now by clicking the big red subscribe button. All right, let's get into the first overreaction today, which is start Mitchell Trubisky over Kenny Pickett, even if Pickett is healthy. And for me, this is still up in the air. Now, I understand why some would want Mitchell Trubisky to start. Let's look at these two numbers in yesterday's matchup. 9 of 12 for Trubisky, 144 yards, a touchdown, really high quarterback rating, and he really showed up in the big moments. Multiple third and long conversions. He really showed up when we needed it most, and he delivered the victory. And then Pickett just, he was okay. 11 for 18, 67 yards. The offense wasn't fantastic with him in, so I understand why some would want to stick with Mitch right now. And right now, my feeling on the whole situation is we definitely don't want to rush Pickett back. When it comes to concussions and everything with the head and everything that we know about CTE right now, we have to remember that Kenny Pickett's a human being, and his well-being is priority number one for the Steelers right now. And right now, I really think if we're not rushing him back, Trubisky's going to be the starter when we play the Dolphins later on Sunday night this week. I think Trubisky will end up being the one starting for the Steelers. But, it's definitely an interesting question. If Pickett's healthy, if he's ready to go, which guy should start this week? Let me know in the comments. This will be our pinned comment today. So when you guys get an ad break, go down in the comment section and let me know who you would start, Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett this week if Kenny Pickett is healthy. Now let's move on to overreaction number 2, which is that Chase Claypool is back. And to me, this is absolutely reasonable. Chase Claypool played his butt off this week. Let's take a look at his stats from yesterday's game against the Bucs. 7 receptions. A lot of those came in really big situations. 96 yards and 13.7 average and a huge touchdown there. Chase Claypool is absolutely back. I was absolutely wrong about Chase Claypool, guys. Last week, I was saying that we should trade him, that, he's all maple syrup and no pancakes. I said all this stuff, all this trash about Chase Claypool, and I am here to tell you right now that I was wrong. This guy really balled out last week, and he earned that Mapletron label. And, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, dude. I was completely wrong. And, man, you balled out this weekend against the Bucs. He was fantastic. But, should we strike when the iron's hot? Because, the NFL trade deadline, it's coming. And right now, Chase Claypool is a hot commodity. So could we still trade him, now that he's had this big game and his value is incredibly high? We could trade him. Let me know if you would trade him or if you would keep him in the comment section. Personally, for me, I'm keeping him. All right? I've been wrong about this guy too much here over the last week. I'm done being wrong about him. He's a great run blocker. He's huge. He's got good. He had some really nice contested catches that we really haven't seen from him so far this year in yesterday's game, which was really promising to see. He's fast. The guy's potential is insane. He's still relatively cheap because he's still on his rookie contract. I think it's absolutely worth keeping Chase Claypool in the fold here, especially because we could be potentially competing for a playoff spot. Maybe. We'll get into that later in the show, though. Number 3 overreaction for today's video. Steelers defense is back. Is this true? I'm going to say it's a slight overreaction personally. They played great last game. Don't get me wrong. With all the backups in, against the GOAT, all these things, it was fantastic. But let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive stats yesterday. 304 yards, 229 passing yards, only 75 rushing yards. And then they were only 4 of 14 on third down, which was fantastic for the Steelers defense. And then in the red zone, only 25% touchdown percentage in the red zone. This just goes to show you that, the Bucs were moving the ball down the field at times in this game. But, the Miles Jack deflection, all these different plays, the Ogunjobi play at the goal line there, the run play. That was fantastic situational defense by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's why we won the football game. So big kudos to the Steelers defense. But at the same time, let's look at the stats throughout this season to this point. And this is including last week's stats. So right now they're tied for 23rd in points per game. They're tied for 21st in yards per play. I mean, opponent third down percentage is 26th in the league. Red zone percentage is number 8, which is actually pretty good. And then turnovers is also pretty good at tied for 5th place. And then sacks ever since that first game against Cincinnati, where I think we had 7, only 5 in 5 weeks now. It's not been fantastic. So in my opinion, we need to give Mike Tomlin the credit for the fantastic performance. So obviously the players play the game and they executed the game plan, but there's not many defensive head coaches that can design a defense that can stymie Tom Brady with their complete defense on the field. Mike Tomlin did it with a bunch of guys, 4 people in the secondary out. I mean, TJ Watt, his best edge rusher, was out. He was still able to devise the perfect game plan. They barely blitzed, which was actually very interesting. They switched coverages up. It was a very interesting game plan by Tomlin, and it definitely worked. So kudos to the head coach for devising that game plan. Now, this is the point in the show where I go ask you guys to go give me a follow on Twitter. Tomorrow is my day off here, so I am actually going to be spending a lot of time going through Kenny Pickett's game film from yesterday's game. I'm going to be posting a bunch of my thoughts on his performance, Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky, actually, on my Twitter. So if you like all 22 film analysis, my Twitter's perfect for that. I also live tweet every single Steelers game. So if you want to get my reactions to the game before the post-game show, go follow me on Twitter, and you'll get a shout-out on the next episode of Steelers Talk that I'm on. So last episode, I told you guys to go retweet and like one of my tweets on Twitter. Here are the first 10 that got that done. Kenny 2 Gloves, thank you so much, man. You were on the last one. You got a shout out last time, man. So kudos to you. Same thing with Radwood a Gat. You guys were both towards the top of the list in last episode as well. So congrats on getting that second shout out this week, guys. Randy Schaefer. Randy, man, I noticed you liking all of my posts during the game, the live tweeting. That was awesome of you, man. Thank you so much for the retweet and the like. The Womp Dog 895. Thank you so much for interacting with my Twitter. Tom Likes Space. Shout out to you, man. Love that Clint Eastwood picture. Ron Morrison, man. Thank you so much for interacting. Jarrett, I think that's Acrisure Stadium behind you, man. That's awesome, dude. Tyrone Clark, thank you so much. Zeno, man. Come on, you got in here too, man. Cowboy fan. All right, and then GP Isbell. Thank you guys so much for interacting with that tweet. You guys are the best. And if you guys want to get into if you guys want to shout out on next episode, go follow me on Twitter. All right, number 4, the overreaction number 4 is Pick and still make the playoffs. Now, to me, this is a slight overreaction. We got a long way to go, guys. Whenever you lose 4 games over the course of an NFL season, your chances drop dramatically. But let's take a look at the AFC North standings coming into today. The Steelers are only 1 game out, man. The Baltimore Ravens and the Bengals are both at 3-3. Both of them have definitely underachieved to this point in the season. And then Cleveland has lost a couple bad games in a row as well, and they're tied with us at 2-4. So at the end of the day, the AFC North is winnable. Now let's look at the next 8 games on the Steelers' schedule. We got the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football this week. We got the Eagles next week on the road. That one's going to be a tough one, guys. Then we got the bye. Saints, Bengals, Colts, Falcons, Ravens, and Panthers. Let's break this down a little bit further, though. Okay, the Eagles is going to be a tough game, but, you look at these games. The Dolphins, they've lost a couple games in a row. That could be winnable. The Saints have lost quite a few games this year. That could be winnable. The Bengals have a bad offensive line, and we're going to have TJ Watt back for that game. That game is winnable. The Colts have been very shaky throughout the entirety of this year. They haven't put together really a good full game of football yet. We could beat them. Same thing with the Falcons. And then with the Ravens, I'm hoping we could probably split with those guys. And then the Panthers is winnable. So the roadmap is there where the playoffs are still in play. But we're going to have to win every single game we're supposed to win. And then we're also going to have to win a couple games that maybe we shouldn't be winning, like the Eagles or the Dolphins, or, splitting with the Ravens, or God forbid, sweeping the Ravens. So we're going to have to get some of that done. It's going to be tough, but at the end of the day, I think it's still possible. But I want to know from you guys, what is the best possible record for the Steelers in 2022? So best case scenario, if we win as many games as we possibly can, and I want to know here, make it realistic here now, okay? Make it realistic. To me, I think it's 11-6. I think this is the most that we can do right now. To get into the playoffs, we really need to get to at least 10-7. But I think at the end of the day, I'm loving what this team is looking like. I love Mike Tomlin's leadership. We're getting TJ Watt back. I think the offense is starting to get better. And, if we can beat Miami and the Saints and, some of these other closer matchups, and then we split with the Ravens, I mean, the Eagles is going to be a tough one, don't get me wrong. But I think we could potentially get to 11-6. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. Type real one in the comments if you made it to the end. I appreciate y'all. And until next time, peace, guys.